Congratulations, Kevin. I'm really happy for your success. And we were discussing just a couple of days ago your score, and I was like, you're just in the middle of preparation and you just nailed it, like with the certificate. I'm really,
Yeah,
really impressed. You made my day.
yeah,
So
super quick.
could you please tell me about your feelings, how you're feeling?
I'm feeling really good. A lot of pressure's off. I feel like I've achieved it. I've done. I gave a big like woo when I saw the
Wow.
certificate.
Wow, amazing, wonderful, wonderful. So let's start with some basic questions. But before that, I would ask you if you have to tell just one thing, one piece of advice for all of us, for all the PMP aspirants, how they can pass PMP exam with one advice that you have based on your experience.
Don't go in with memorization of all the techniques. It has nothing to do with that.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, this is what I used to tell, like, focus on conceptual understanding, try to
Hmm.
understand concepts rather than memorization. So one of my students, while I was teaching the tools and techniques, and he was like 1 2 3 4 5, I said don't do that,
Yeah.
just focus on individual concepts. Wonderful, right? Okay, Kevin, a brief about your background, your qualification, where do you work, and what was the motivation for pursuing PMP, and then we'll come to your PMP exam preparation strategy.
Okay. So exactly a year ago, my boss, so I work at Pacific Shoring. I'm in a manufacturing company. So we manufacture aluminum products, steel products, welding machines, very operational. I'm the plant manager of this facility and another facility out in North Carolina. And then my the CEO came up to me a year ago and said, "Hey, there's this thing called project management." And I was like, "I don't know what this is." Never heard of it, never looked at it. And then he said, "There's a CAPM." And then I went to PMI. I looked at the CAPM. I started going through all the little training courses through them, and it was very difficult, because it was just all new to me. And then I passed that exam, and then I said, I really enjoy this whole project management stuff. I really enjoy and like learning. Um, so then that's when I signed up for your course. And then I started thinking back. I have been doing a lot of projects throughout my career. We've moved into new facilities. We've, added additional bathroom. We've done projects all the time, new product. And it's like, wow. So I have experience of doing it, but not the documentation or the processes or following certain guidelines, kind of none of that. So that's when I just started learning all this from fresh. And then I said, I really want to pursue this. It's just fascinating to me because I've been machining and technical and, hands on and have that kind of mind. So just having this people skills, and I think I'll just, enhance my management skills as well. So yeah,
All right, wonderful, wonderful. And what was your exam preparation strategy? Like just in 30 days? How come?
okay. So every pretty much every free moment I got, I read the Rita Macaulay book. I just started reading it, kind of taking my own notes, and every day, just at home an hour in the morning, an hour. I'd wake up at 3 in the morning, read a little more, just read through, read through, read through. But first, your class was really good because I didn't know about agile concepts.
Okay.
Because I can think of processes for predictive for conventional style, right? Because operations is like that. So that all kind of makes sense. And agile was just new. So when you explained all that in class, I was like, oh, and the iterations and the release dates and the time box and the scope changes. And I was like, oh, this is all very exciting, which helped. But then I started reading the book, reading the book, reading the book. And then I finished it. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to memorize, right? There's just no way. There's just too much knowledge in this thing. The PMBOK guide, when I kind of went through that with the CAPM a year ago, I was like, this is just too much knowledge, right? It's too much. So then I was like, I'm scheduling the exam just to get it on the books, and I was going to do it late February. But I was like, you know what? I got a lot of things going on. I'm going to start getting my associate's degree in management, and that starts this Monday. I'm going to be traveling to Texas and North Carolina. I got trips lined up, and I was just like, when am I going to do this? And then I'm going to worry about studying for a month, right? Going in and studying and trying to memorize, right? I would try to do that. So I said, screw it. So then I saw the next available time was 5 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
Just booked it just to do it that way. I don't have to worry about studying so much, right? I was like, I'm either gonna know it or not, or let's see where I'm at. And then yeah, and then I went to sleep. I didn't stress and start. Well, I read our notes again in class, all the notes.
Yeah.
I just went through all those notes again, just really quickly. Spent half an hour, 45 minutes, just touching up on that stuff. And then that was the last thing. And then I went to sleep. And then I woke up. I got a water. I made some eggs, relaxed, and then went in and logged in about a half an hour early for the Pearson. And I was pretty familiar with it from the CAPM, so I wasn't stressed about that. And then just went through the questions. So
All right, wonderful. So you read PMP exam prep book and you solved my mock exams. What was your average score on those mock exams?
60.
60%. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Because
That's
I used to tell my students like 70% is the, red line. At least if you get 70%, then you're ready to go for the exam. Okay, wonderful.
so
So
I was doing the mock test, and then I was just getting discouraged because I wasn't getting them right.
yeah,
So I said, this is just bringing me down. Because so I was like, I'm just gonna focus on learning because that's what's
okay,
exciting. You know,
wonderful,
failing's not exciting. So I just
wonderful.
concentrated on that, and then really like your words throughout the class just helped. Your voice,
Okay,
your iterations, the
yeah.
little notes, pictures, like all that was flooding through. So that's kind of what helped a lot.
Wonderful, wonderful. And did you join my question answer session classes that we have on Monday and Friday?
A few of them.
Few of them. Okay, right.
Yep, and I think I
Wonderful.
did okay too. A couple of the questions we went through, and I got a few of them right, and I was like, okay, I think I'm getting it.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful. So how much time you dedicated on daily basis? Like if we say 30 days, but how many hours in a day on average?
uh, two to three,
2 to 3 hours. Okay, yes,
probably.
that's right. Okay, 2 to 3 hours. So you can say that 30 days, 2 to 3 hours a day is good enough to, pass the exam.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So one reason why you would recommend my course, what do you like in it? What's the, I would say, uh, the feature that you like the most in the course?
Uh, you just explained it really well. So for me, I guess to not really know anything about a methodology, right? And now I've taken so much from that. So
Wonderful.
just the way you explained through, and then you went through, waterfall planning, predictive, and then you went right into agile planning. And then the
Yeah,
next one, you went in execution, and then you
yeah,
went to agile. So I was like,
yeah,
okay. And the book doesn't do that
yeah.
also, so you kind of compared the two as we were going through.
Yes, yes. So when we talk about planning, I compare all of the methodologies in all of the knowledge areas. For example, first, schedule management in waterfall, schedule management in agile, scope in waterfall, scope in agile. So that gives a pretty good idea to the students, like what's the difference between that. Wonderful, Kevin. All right. So any question from the
Oh,
participants? Okay.
the
Oh,
I took the entire time. So the
okay.
first step through the break was like I I had 60 questions, but I used a little more than the 60 minutes. Like I was behind for the next two sets, right? So I was like,
Okay.
now I'm down to a less than a minute per question I had to answer and kind of sneak through. And then I was down to 3 minutes at the very end. So it
Okay.
took the entire time.
That's good. That's good. And during the exam, did you feel that you're not going to make it, or it is difficult, or something like that, or you were confident, like it is
I felt like I wasn't gonna make it the entire time.
okay? Yeah.
Because
This is what.
I was like, yeah, it's got to be this, but it could be this. This.
And one more thing, like anything that you saw in the exam that we couldn't cover during the course, or most of the things were covered.
I think most of the things were covered. What I found was a lot of not a lot, but there was definitely like, let's say 5 questions that
Okay.
seemed like they were the same question.
Okay.
So if you're like, I think it's this answer, and then you're like that answer for the 5 questions, you're either right 5 times or you're wrong 5 times, right? Because they're very similar in nature.
Right, right. Makes sense. Okay, okay. Wonderful. All right. Any question from the participants? You can ask Kevin whatever you like to. So, Zeldi, go ahead.
Hi, thanks for sharing and having the session for us. And apologies if you already covered this. Just wanted to know, did you write online or at one of the centers?
Online.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't do it at the center because I think when I looked a year ago for the CAPM, they're a good 2.5 hours. So I certainly didn't want to drive 2.5 hours and like not pass, you know. So
Yes, thanks.
at home was nice.
And congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Marta?
Congratulations, Kevin, again. How many times did you read each question?
It felt like at least like 2, 3 times.
Okay.
And then once I had to catch up a little bit because I was behind on maybe the third session of the class of the exam, I kind of had to go. You only have one time to read through this thing, like because I had to catch up a little bit. So if you sit there and kind of, and then if you take 3 times to read it and then read the questions, I mean, you're easily a minute and a half, minute 45, and you've lost
Yeah.
time. So I mean, you probably want to be able to read that question nice and slow, fully understand it when you're reading it, move to the next ones versus kind of reading, going. And then if you look at the question, the answers, and you go back and maybe read it again, you're just losing time.
And you used a Mars technique, like go and find what the main point is.
Yeah, you want to find that main point. Yeah, because it helps. Because then, yeah, a lot of the answers reflect maybe the stage or what process you're in during the project, and that question you're like, oh, it's got to be in execution stage, so it's this. Or that said this in the question, it has to be done in planning.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Brooks?
Hey, Kevin. Congratulations again. It's awesome that you completed it so quickly and got your certificate. Well, this is funny because I was actually asking Amar before the class started, hey, I'm trying to figure out how to systematize all of this information so I can be like, oh, yes, this is the main concept and these are the smaller individual concepts that make it up. And it sounds like that's not the way to go. So, I was kind of wondering, though, if you had to break it down into percentages, what percent of the time would you say you spent reviewing the book, like the exam guide, versus going over the notes from the class?
You froze.
Yeah,
he froze, right? Yeah, okay.
Maybe he lost the network, but you can answer. So he's asking about the percentage of time, how much time you allocated to reading and how much time you allocated to reviewing the class notes.
Yeah, like notes versus textbook versus like putting it into practice.
Okay, so I think starting off with the class, fully present, fully good notes, and that was the only time with that. So I was just very present, the 8-9 hours a day, present, right? So that was a good starting point. And then after the class, I started to read the book. Then I thought like, oh, Amar mentioned these things in the book. Should have read the book while doing the class, but whatever. So it helped read the book a little more. And then I just went through the books, and I started making notes on my own while reading the book, but it was taking a lot of time. So then I kind of stopped and just started reading the book and just trying to memorize. And I was planning on going back and reading the book again. I was going to try to do it because that's what it suggests: read it once and then go back and read it again. And then after I finished the book finally, then the day before, I went over the notes again in class. So that's it. So I mean, more time. Well, yeah, probably it was just a lot of time with the book, but the class was long, right? 9 times 4. So, but yeah, the book was just kind of almost every day. Like I'd get home and just pop it open and read it, or right before bed, read it. If I'd get up in the morning, I'd read it and just keep going, keep going, keep going.
It's interesting what you say about taking notes on the book, because I've been trying to go through and highlight individual sections and reread it. And yeah, I mean, it's just taking me forever to get through that way. So I might just take your technique.
Yeah, just read. And then even then, like it's conceptual questions. Like it's not even like the book isn't, I don't know. It's kind of not the same on the exam. Like the book's good, but I mean, it's more detailed and finite. And, like maybe now that I'm in projects, I want to go back to the book and refer how to do things. You know what I mean? But going and taking the test, it's not like, oh, I got this from the book. You really got to just be in the situation, like these people are arguing. How do you deal with it? Well, the book doesn't tell you. It just gives you techniques, right? You're either going to do A, B, C, or D from the book. But in this situation, what would you do? You're like,
yeah. So the book is more like a reference once you get out into the real world, if you need to go back and check something, but really you kind of got to logic your way through after kind of learning the concepts. That makes sense.
Yeah. That's what I would think.
And I have seen Kevin was very, very attentive during the class. Like throughout the class, he was asking questions, he was, participating. So that I have seen people who participate in the class or stay engaged, they, they retain those concepts easily. So this is one of the reasons, like I say, don't spend a lot of time in taking notes, because I have already consolidated notes. So this is what I was telling to Brooks. Maybe you have these notes. So let me just share the screen. So can you see it?
Yes.
So these are the notes, Brooks, which I was referring to. If you have these notes, you don't need to take notes during the class, but you can. But ultimately, everything is there. So lesson-wise, whatever we cover. So these are my class notes. So everything is there. Waterfall, agile, with the same sequence, with a lot of detail. So you can see if you have these notes, then I don't think so you need anything else to, worry about, or you don't need any other reference. It covers 100% of the exam content.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that too. The book has more in it than the notes. So if you're learning even more things that probably are irrelevant for the exam, whereas this stuff's on it.
Yeah. Kevin, I have one more question before Marta's question. So you attended my couple of PMP exam preparation questions. So this is for me, because I'm writing a book on PMP questions. So could you relate real exam questions with the questions that we were having during the sessions? Is there any kind of relation in terms of difficulty level or language?
I think it's pretty similar.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's pretty similar, because I was really hoping the mock test, things like that, were gonna be way harder. But they weren't. They did seem like a little more, like there was definitely like it's A or B, or you know what I mean? But I had a lot of that on the exam. I was like, it's definitely this. There was more, 87% throwing out a number was, is it A or B, versus, the 13% where, yeah, it's B, but
Wonderful.
they're very similar. The wording's good. It's pretty comparable.
Okay. Wonderful. That really helps. Marta?
Now, Amar, that was my question. I wanted to know how much of the mock exams. I'm not able to join live, and I'm taking them afterwards. But I'm very far from Kevin yet, so I need to learn much more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brooks?
Had a question, forgot it. Oops.
Okay. All right. Any other question from anyone?
I'd say nail down like the people skills.
All right. That's good. People skills.
Because I think it was 50% in the domain anyway, right? It's 48 or 50.
Yeah, 42%.
42, yeah. So there's a lot of people questions and how to handle this situation with team members, and there's kind of a lot of that.
Okay, and Kevin, what about agile questions? How many were agile? How many were waterfall or equally distributed?
I'm gonna say there was more agile.
More agile.
Yeah, I tended to lean more towards, because I mean Scrum's thrown in there, the team member iteration. I mean all these little words that are in the question. You're like, oh, agile. You know,
Okay.
so
Wonderful.
team members working together, like you said, servant leadership. You know, like all this is like agile. So there's some hybrid stuff, but I'm gonna say lean towards agile.
Wonderful. So Brooks got his question back. Okay, go ahead, Brooks.
Yeah. So there we go. What was your pass percentage? Do they display that?
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Okay.
In the email, there was like a link to click on to say what it was, and I click on it, and it's not popping up. So I don't know if I just got the pass and then it's not recorded yet. I'm not sure. I don't know how long that takes. Maybe it takes a little longer to comprise.
I think Amar said you never see the scoring rates, right? You just receive the pass and that's it.
Yeah, they would not reveal the percentage, but they would tell you like in these three areas, like people, process, business, where you are above target, your target, below target, or needs improvement. So you'll get that. So you'll get a bar that tells you, okay, you are where you are in terms of that bar.
That's what I thought, because when I took the CAPM, they really broke it down to like, okay, you're low kind of in risk planning, you know, but you're purchasing, procurements, you're above target. And it kind of breaks down a little bit that. And I got above target on the CAPM. But this one, when I'm on the website right now, it's still, everything's kind of grayed out. It says you're in good standing, but there's no like information yet. I don't think it's uploaded.
Kevin, you can see this on your PMI portal as an exam report.
That's what I thought. I clicked it. It's just all kind of grayed out right now. I'm on the PMI right now.
Maybe it will take a day or a couple of days to update. Maybe you'll get it.
That's what I think, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Zeldi. Go ahead.
Sorry, one last question. When did you write the exam?
When did I take it?
Yeah.
Yesterday morning.
Okay. So they provide the results within 24 hours.
Yeah, it says on the website, or up to 5 days. Like right when I was done with it, they said within 48 hours, right when I finished. But then on the website it says it takes up to 5 days, but it looks like it took exactly 22 hours.
Okay, thank you.
All right, everyone. I think we're done. Thank you so much, Kevin. Your insight, your learnings are really, really helpful for the people who are preparing for the exam. And I'm really happy for your success. Enjoy your success. And once again, thank you. We'll be in touch.
Perfect.
Thanks,
you.
Kevin.
Right.
Congrats.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Good luck.